Speed time, my Jamie's Top Cat here, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are on our solar Warlock, and boy do we have a build for you. We found out something new. We're using the well super, and look, we can make ignitions. Simple ignitions just by shooting things inside our well using solar weapons. Everything pops up. This is future proof as well. This isn't just for the season. Our supers can now do this, make ignitions inside our wells using solar elemented weapons. The way that we do this is through a use of fragment, and it took me so long to find this because the fragment doesn't actually say that it does this, okay? So we're using the fragment Ember of Combustion. Final blows with solar super cause targets to ignite. So it doesn't say anything about solar weapons here, but obviously a well doesn't shoot, so it doesn't necessarily specify that, but we just pop down a well, use our solar elemented weapons, and this is counting as solar weapon kills. So things are going to ignite. And by now, we all know how strong ignitions are. Watch them just devastate waves of ads here. Through one kill, you can just wipe out like 15, 20 things. It'll kill everything in its path. It's super, super strong. I myself have been using the Vex Mythoclast primarily for this build. I love this thing, love it to pieces. It pretty much is an auto rifle. It says it's a fusion rifle, it's pretty much an auto rifle. It fires at 390 RPM but does the damage of a 360 RPM auto rifle, so very good. It's got great range and also got damage boosts and can turn into a linear fusion rifle if you want to shoot something at a longer range and do more damage. So very versatile weapon. I love this thing to pieces, and you can see here how well it works at just clearing ads. There's 38 ads there, wiped out, popped down my super and got my super back with it. But you can also use legendary weapons. I tried using this with the Adept Summoner here, and this does much the same thing. You can see here, get a kill, does ignitions. So you really just whatever you want to use depending on the season. You know, auto rifles are overloaded this season, so Adept Summoner, very good choice here. You can see those big butter booms, so good, and just makes clearing waves upon ads just that much simpler. You can use special weapon, you know, as long as it's got solar, it's good to go. Same with heavy weapons, you can use this. I use fixed odds with incandescent. It's very good support build as you are well, so I generally set up for a support role, and you can see how potent this is, and because that you can really use your ammo quite sparingly as well because it is this strong. And of course we like incandescent. Incandescent is going to be chucking more scorch stacks out there, which is primarily what this build is about. It's about checking out scorch, getting ignitions, and blowing everything to Kingdom Come. We're using Ember of Eruption. Your solar ignitions have increased area of effect. Ember of Ashes, so it's going to apply more scorch stacks to targets. And Ember of Char, so our solar ignitions spread more scorch stacks to targets, so we get those chain reaction kills that are so great. We're also using Solar Fulmination. This isn't necessary. A lot of this gameplay I haven't been using Solar Fulmination, as this I want to try and future-proof this build and know that it would still work in coming seasons. So not all of this footage has Solar Fulmination, but the ignitions are still stupid strong and still get those big butter booms, those big popping ignitions caused by the scorch. So very lovely. Love this build to pieces. Not only does this make the well so much stronger, you're doing it from safety of course as well. So we want to try and maximize this. We want to use an exotic that's going to help embellish it. We're using the Phoenix Protocol. Kills and assists you make while standing in your well of radiance return super energy back to you. So we do this, you know, pop down my well, and I'm just going to mow everything down, and you watch straight away, one ignition, I've got half my super back to me straight away. I mean, that's how good this exotic is. So we can just use our well whenever we want, just lay into things, and we'll be able to get our super back to us ASAP. I mean, the fastest I've got it back in is like, I think it's about 17 seconds, but so it doesn't matter if there's a mess of ads there, you're going to get your well back. See, that's like 24 seconds odd, and I've got another super back, so very versatile. I'm also going to be double stacking hands on to help me get my super back. We're going to be pairing this with heat rises, as final blows while airborne will help give melee energy back to me, so that way I can always be popping up melees, always be feeding super energy to myself. You see here, as long as I get a couple of targets, it's going to feed my melee energy straight back to me. So if I kill like 2 or 3 targets, pull melee charge back to me. I'm also going to be using a melee well maker, seeking wells to feed those wells back to me. Elemental charge and heavy handed. So whilst I'm charged with light, I'm going to regain half my melee energy when I use a charged melee ability. This also has a secondary perk. Whilst surrounded by multiple combatants, defeating a combatant with a fusion rifle, shotgun, sidearm or sub is also going to help my reloads. I'm using a shotgun and a fusion rifle. That is the Bex Mytha class. So this just goes a long way towards keeping me with ammo in my mag, so that way I can just destroy things in that 30-second window that we have with the well. Just makes it that much simpler for just mowing things down and not having to take a break. Being that this is a super based build, we want to have a super as much as we can, but we don't want to be spending it on intellect points. This is one of the reasons we're going to be using Font of Wisdom. Now, we do have a seasonal mod that we are using for this build. You don't need to, but you can see here I'm making solar orbs through my Bex Mytha class. It's an exotic using the flame harvesting mod. This is just another way to give me charge of light to fuel my Font of Wisdom. I'm also going to be using impact induction. This is just another way to get grenade kills, scorch kills, melee kills. Feel free to swap these mods out when you're doing a Grandmaster. They're just a nice to have and something I did enjoy for this build, as they do make this well pop. As in a lot of cases, you know, you can just bang out a grenade that scorches everything, then you finish it off with the melee, and more melees means more supers. I'm using the Firebolt grenade. I've actually come to quite like this one. It doesn't lay up as much scorch stacks as other things, but if you use Touch of Flame, this will help boost it, and also spreads out to more targets, and that way it kind of pairs quite nicely with the Incendious Snap. That way you're kind of scorching all the targets and then finishing them off with the melee as well, and this will also create ignitions as well. So it's good for low tier ads, and it's also great for yellow bars as well. You get that ignition that's really strong. So no, great combination with these two melee and grenades. So obviously the class item mods are seasonal, but they're just nice to have. They make it pop this season. I know we've only got a month odd left, but these will help this season, but you don't have to have them going forwards. This is still a really strong build, and you're still going to get those ignitions, and that's the thing we want. So give it a go for yourself, guys. Please like if you like this build. If you're new and you really liked it, chuck us a sub. I'm always pumping out new ones. If you got a comment or a question down below, feel free to chuck a comment. And until next time, tippy tie my damies, what a tie.